too.
Wbrk, home of the dogs.
This is Wbrk-Tv, home of the dogs. Ms. Stewart says, hey, take a look for Jump for Start for Jobs. It's coming to place near you next week. February 24th through March 3rd, we're going to have experts in the fields of welding, law enforcement, lineman, construction, highway maintenance, and more. If you're interested in getting to know people in the field, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. You can get both here, not only what you need to know, but who you need to know. Again, see Miss Stewart. Truth of the day. You never realize what you have until it's gone. Toilet paper is a good example. Bulldog Athletics. All right. Well, tonight we got a game, JV Soccer at Clinton, 4:30 p.m. My money says it'll be canceled. It's raining cats and dogs out there, man. Last night, varsity soccer, what a game. Unfortunately, they lost to Clinton. 1-0 in overtime. Good game, guys. Saturday, football scrimmage. They don't care if it's raining. 12 p.m. That's 12 noon in Benson.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Happy birthday, Ari, Luis, Sarah, Javon. Tell them happy birthday today. But what about Friday? What about Saturday? What about Sunday? Hey, Caitlin Carter, Janae Pittman, happy birthday to you too. Mr. Brown says, this is the last day to give your drivers a big thank you. Last week, we were able to celebrate bus drivers for Bus Driver Appreciation Week. And we want to thank right now Sam Boney, Clayton Bryant, Johnny Carr, Michael Fisher, Linda Holmes, and Ace Lawson. Hey, thanks, guys.
Wbrk, home of the dogs.
Thanks to Georgia Wells, the creator of the Wbrk-Tv jingle. What? You guessed it. You guessed it. Pepperoni pizza. Celebrating Black History Month, let's take a look at Irene Morgan Kirkcaldy.
Almost certainly there wouldn't have been freedom rides without Irene Morgan. She refused to give up her seat on a bus in Gloucester County, Virginia in July of 1944. She took her case all the way to the Supreme Court, and in Morgan versus Virginia in June of 1946. On paper, at least, the Supreme Court struck down segregation in interstate travel on buses.
But no state in the South obeyed these decisions, so it was as if they'd never happened. The Greyhound Bus Company, the Trailways Bus Company, were able to hide behind the refusal of state law to accommodate to federal law. So despite the fact that you'd had these national rulings, which should have been law every place in the country, they weren't in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, across the South. Business as usual.
Mr. Jenkins says, PEBT benefits, end of February. It's your attendance that they're looking at. If you have any questions, see Mr. Jenkins. Now, news you want to know. All right. 2 days ago, lawmakers in North Carolina proposed 6 weeks of summer school for all North Carolina students, making up learning lost during the pandemic. The good news, you don't have to do it. The bad news, it's your parents who get to decide. So, is it going to happen? They already got the money. And it looks like it's bipartisan, which means both Democrats and Republicans are for it. So, hello, summer school. Ms. Scott says, cap and gowns, get them. You're seniors. Come on. What's wrong with you? Go to Jostens. Here's the number if you need it. You got till the end of this month. Graduation rings, you also have the end of this month to get the discount, $50 off your purchase. Go to Jostens.com. Juniors, it's almost here, baby. Tuesday, we have ACT testing. All 9th, 10th, and 12th graders, you stay home that Tuesday for remote learning. All juniors, Academy 1, Academy 2, and remote, all must come to school that day. Take the bus if you got to. Call the office if you need a ride. But you got to come. It's North Carolina state law. Bring your charged laptops, juniors. Make sure you don't just bring your laptop, but it's charged. You imagine taking almost the whole test? You know. So here's some ACT advice. A couple pieces of advice that will score you tons of points. Number 1, never leave an answer blank. So the last minute of every section, there's only one thing you should be doing. Let me see. Today I feel like the letter B. And you fill in all the B's, man. You fill in every answer you didn't answer. 100% of the questions you do not answer will be wrong. Duh. So take a shot and just answer. What are you feeling? Is it an A kind of day? Is it a C kind of day? Maybe you want to mix it up. I don't know. What you feeling? And for the last and second piece of ACT advice today, we have an expert. Math tip. Don't show you know how. They don't care. They just want the answer. So, listen carefully.
Hello and welcome to Here Tutoring. In this video, we're going to talk about when and how to use the answer choices for the ACT math test. First, let's just make sure we say that we are allowed to use the answer choices. The ACT math test is not like a normal math test where we need to start from the beginning and work to the end, showing all of our work. In fact, we shouldn't do that because our goal isn't to show anyone that we know how to do the question. Rather, our goal for the ACT math test is simply to get the right answer as quickly as possible, using whatever method necessary. And sometimes, the best method to get the right answer is to just use the answer choices and plug them back into the question, even if we know how to do the questions the right way. This is because sometimes the right way to do the question will actually take a lot longer than just using the answer choice. Now, let's talk about how and when to use the answer choices. Regarding the how, the most efficient way to use the answer choices is to start with C, since it will always be the choice that's right in the middle. If C ends up being wrong, then we only need to pick one more choice to find the right answer. If C ends up being too big, then we know the answer needs to be either A or B. Then we just need to pick either A or B to plug in. If it's right, then great. If it's wrong, then we know the answer is the other one. Likewise, if C ends up being too small, then we know the answer will be either D or E, so we pick one of them to plug in. If it's right, great. If it's wrong, then we know the answer is the other one. On the other hand, if we just started with choice A and worked forwards, we might need to try 4 different choices if the answer is E, instead of just 2 using this method where we start with C.
If you're lost at this point, that's okay. He's going to give you an example and show it, and he explains it much better. You're going to understand it in a second.
Let's try this with 2 examples. First, let's take a look at this question. If 2n plus 1 squared minus n minus 5 squared equals 16, then what could be a value of n? Our choices are 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. For this question, we should recognize that it would take quite a while to FOIL out the entire problem and find the roots, so this would be a perfect question to use the answer choices for. So let's start by trying choice C, which is 4. When we plug 4 in, we end up getting 9 squared minus negative 1 squared equals 16, which simplifies to 81 minus 1 equals 16, which is 80 equals 16, which doesn't work. We say that 80 is too big, so let's try one of the smaller choices. Let's try A by plugging 1 back into the original.
So here's what's happened. Here's what he did. He didn't try to solve the problem. All he did was go to the middle number and plug it in. He found out that the number was too big. So now he knows to go back down so now he knows the answer's got to be either A or B. He doesn't need to check these two because he knows it's got to be smaller. So now he's going to plug the next one in.
When we do this, we end up getting 3 squared minus negative 4 squared equals 16, which simplifies to 9 minus 16 equals 16, which simplifies to negative 7 equals 16, which doesn't work either. So now we know the answer needs to be between A and C, or between 1 and 4, so we can just pick B at this point and move on. But if we
You didn't even have to do the work for it. You knew it wasn't C because that was too big. You knew it wasn't A, that was too small. It's got to be B.
check this, we would see that plugging 2 back into the equation gets us 5 squared minus negative 3 squared equals 16, which simplifies to 25 minus 9 equals 16, which simplifies to 16 equals 16. With this method of using the answers, we will only need to try at most 2 of the answer choices, whereas if we started from the beginning, we might need to try up to 4 choices.
So you just cut the time in half. It's not about how much you knew, it's just how effectively you could work. Now you can answer maybe twice as many questions. Hey, this guy got a perfect score. Listen to him.
Wbrk, home of the dogs.
Have a great Bulldog Day.